Hi, this is Steph with Belladonna Dyes, and today we're going to make a thick water liquid spiral, and today's shirt is going to be the Toddler tee version. I have the shirt turned inside out primarily due to habit. I smoothed out most of the wrinkles, and then I decided where I want the center of my spiral to be, and I gave it a little pinch. I'm using a modified fork and the microwave splatter guard to create the spiral. So I give the fork 2 or 3 twists, and then with my opposite hand I'm creating the pleats and creating the spiral, and I go as far as I can using the splatter guard until I just can't go any farther. I hold down the center of the spiral and gently wiggle the fork out. Now this shirt is tiny, so the splatter guard isn't working. Well, it's working, but it's not as easy to use because I have to really reach up under there to grab a hold of the fabric. Next, I'm going to secure it by using my second favorite rubber bands. They're the perfect size for this little tiny project. I do have links for them down below in the description box along with everything else that I use for tie-dye, so go ahead and check that out. It just makes it easy for you to find the tools that you need to create tie-dye. I like to create a nice tight spiral, so I'm going to pull on all of the loose tails, tucking them into the nearest rubber band, and I'll go around and around doing this until it's all tidied up. Because this is a liquid dye, I can't rely on my ice barrier to button everything up for me. I don't want a bunch of loose tails sticking out. I want the dye to hit everything evenly. This tiny little shirt really took me about 8 minutes to tie up because I am quite particular and I like to get everything really tidy. It's just my personality. Also, this small shirt has 3 tags to contend with. It's got the size tag, the material tag, and then like a product code tag down on the side of it. And trying to get the rubber bands on around the tags, kind of a pain in the butt for such a small piece of fabric. I like to mark out my pattern using a washable marker. This is not a necessary step, it's just something that I like to do. You could probably use your rubber bands as your guide. And I also like to have the tag part of the shirt up at the top. I decide what color I want next to the face based off where the tag is. Now I'm starting in with my thick water, and I do have a tutorial on what thick water is. It's sodium alginate and tap water. I recommend that you watch that tutorial to learn about how to mix it. I like to start with the thick water first because I feel like it has a chance to go in and seep into the fabric before I start adding the colored dye. Some of you saw me make the matching mommy shirt for this little shirt here. I had to order in toddler tees, and so I'd say I made these shirts approximately a week apart. And just in that 1 week's time, the Raven Black started getting weird in the bottle and clogging my tip. And for those of you that have followed along since the beginning, you know that Raven Black is one of those colors that just frustrates me to no end. Now the shirt, you see how large those tags are? And I was really concerned that they were going to touch the colored dye and then get off into the other sections. So I just used my dye towel to hold them back for now. Same thing with the fire red. It's getting really thick in the bottle and doesn't want to cooperate, and you can look down on the shirt and just see how gooey it looks already. It's usually the colors that require extra dye. So the colors that have the asterisks that, want 4 teaspoons of dye or 8 teaspoons of dye to mix, they're the ones that probably should always be used right away. So I let the project sit just for a minute or two. I usually let it rest, but I just wanted to get this project over with. So I flipped it over and I'm going to repeat the process on the back side as I did on the top side. One thing I want to point out, look down into the white space area. Do you notice how the spiral is not completely round? It has like a real noticeable peak in it. Pay attention to that. When you're making your spirals, look into the center and try to make them round. I did not pay attention to that on this one, and it will show in the final result, which we'll see here during the reveal. Now, it's recommended that you let your project batch at 70 degrees or higher for at least 24 hours, and I can tell you that this project batched for the full 48 hours. Now it's time for the rinse out. You want to start by using cold water. That's going to rinse away any soda ash that might still be reacting within the fabric. And when you're trying to protect white, it's very important to remove all of the soda ash from the fabric, because you're going to increase your water up to hot, and you're going to rinse it until the water runs pretty much clear. And the hot water is removing any unbonded dye that didn't attach to the shirt. And you don't want to take a bunch of soda ash and unbonded dye to your washing machine, because you don't want it to redeposit onto your other shirts or your white area. So once you get it rinsed out till the water's pretty much clear at the sink, I like to take it to the washing machine, and I like to do hot water cycles using Kirillon. That is a professional textile detergent that I get from Dharma Trading Company. And then I like to do a final hot water cycle using Millsoft, which is a professional fabric softener that I also get from Dharma. And then I'll put it in the dryer and I'll iron it, and we'll come back and we'll see the results. Well, here it is, guys. Here's our Steelers-inspired toddler tee after it's been washed and dried, and I think it turned out really good. Now, notice that little crick in the white area, how it's not a perfectly round spiral? That's what I was telling you to look at. I'm still fine with the shirt. I think once it's on the body and a little person is toddling all around, I don't think it's going to be an issue at all. So it looks just like the other shirt did. Now stay tuned, because the white area looks great, right? Nice and white. I had some real technical difficulties, and I'm going to upload a tutorial showing you how to fix situations using Kirillon. So overall, I'm pleased with the way the shirt turned out once I got it to where it is. So what do you guys think? Please leave me some comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, leave a thumbs up, and click the bell and set it to all. That way you get notified of future uploads. And remember, have fun tie-dyeing!